And everybody, hello, everybody. Happy Friday, everybody. It is time for Cub Chat Live. I'm Aaron. You know this guy next to me. It's Cub Chat Mike. How you doing today, sir?
Aaron, I'm doing well, and it's wonderful to be back with you on a Friday Cub Chat Live.
Yes, it is. It is the most wonderful time of the week. And today's topic, immediate recognition. That's a phrase that a lot of you might have heard of. Mike is going to talk to us today about what exactly that means. What is immediate recognition? Why is it important? It is a thing that we do in Cub Scouts, but why? Mike, tell us about it.
Aaron, our subject today is immediate recognition, why it's beneficial for both scouts, parents, volunteers, and leaders. But listen, before we start, I have to tell you, my Arizona Diamondbacks tried as hard as they could, but your Texas Rangers carried the day. I'm glad we didn't make a bet on the series, but yes. Congratulations to you and everyone who was a great Texas Ranger fan.
Thank you, Mike. And it's appropriate that we're doing this show here like just a couple of days after the World Series has ended. Gina and I were talking about this earlier. You know what happens right after the last game of the World Series? They present the winning team with a trophy. It's almost like it's, I don't know, immediate or something. I don't know.
It's immediate recognition. It really is. Well, and as I mentioned and you mentioned, the subject today is immediate recognition and why it's beneficial for the scouts, for parents, volunteers, and for leaders. Now, as a parent and a grandparent, and all the experiences I've had, it's pretty clear that immediate recognition, positive feedback, instant gratification, these are tried and true ways to reinforce behavior, to modify behavior, and to boost morale and Cub Pack spirit. As parents, we all know that positive and immediate feedback, well, along with bribery from time to time, will reinforce and even modify the behavior of our children and our grandchildren. The truth of the matter is, when you can say to your child or grandchild, if you finish your vegetables, we're going to open up the new container of chocolate ice cream that I have. Well, that's sort of immediate. Well, listen, that'll modify my behavior. And you can build your Pinewood Derby car and say after you're finished, well, listen, that you did such a nice job on that Pinewood Derby car. Let's celebrate and go out to the ice cream store and have an ice cream cone. We all know these things. And I'm going to expand on that a little bit today. But before we start, you will recall that Cub Chat Mike loves to give a riddle.
And then at the end of our
session today,
I thought for a second you forgot.
Yes. Oh, I've got one. Now, normally my riddles come from my Wolf second grade grandson. And he normally comes home from Cub Adventure Camp with all kinds of little jokes and riddles. And as you will recall, I've used those in the past. But this one, the riddle today, actually comes from the most current issue of Scouting Life magazine. So if our listeners have that magazine around or can scurry around and find it in the house, if you look on that last page, you're going to see the answer to the riddle. So here it is. Who am I talking about? What am I talking about? When I say what I'm talking about has a bank, but really it doesn't have any money in it. It has a bed, but really doesn't sleep in it, really. It has a mouth, but it's not eating. So what in the world? Who am I describing? What am I describing? And Aaron, I'm hoping that our listeners can send you the answers. And as we get to the end of the presentation, let's find out how many people actually figured out what in the world I was asking them about.
A quick shout out to Jeremy and Rob. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for watching. Rob has already made a guess on the answer. I'm not going to say whether it's correct or not. Gina, don't put Rob's guess on the screen.
Okay. Okay. We know that immediate recognition will reinforce behavior. All parents know that. But as Cub Scouters, can we use this concept to our advantage to further the aims and methods of scouting, of course? Well, consider this. Many packs, including my own Cub pack, likes to have award ceremonies during the pack meeting. The den leader brings the den up in front of the pack, perhaps explains a little bit about the adventures that the scouts have earned, introduces the scouts, presents the belt loop or of other award. And of course, this is great. The parents love it. The grandparents love it. They get to see their scout in action and being recognized for his work. But it's probably been weeks, and in some case, maybe even a month since the den meeting where the belt loop or other award was earned. How much did the scout remember about what they did to earn the belt loop? Did the presentation at the pack meeting motivate the scout to want to earn more belt loops? Well, maybe somewhat, but the question to our scouters is, in that situation, did we get the most bang for our buck? Maybe we've missed an opportunity to get more bang, more motivation to the scout, and maybe we could have maximized the value of that award presentation. So, what if we made a presentation of the belt loop or other award immediately after the belt loop was earned? The scout goes home after the den meeting and he or she is holding the belt loop. I've got it. I can put it on my belt right now. It seems to me that that immediate recognition right after the belt loop was earned is going to motivate the scout to earn more belt loops. Look what I got, Mom. I've earned this. That's where I think we get the maximum value of the award presentation. Now, you can purchase belt loops in advance. You can go to the scout shop. The belt loops are there. You don't have to show the people behind the counter that, well, I've got 7 scouts and 6 of them earned this. And no, you can just buy the belt loops in advance. If you know you're going to be working on specific adventures in the next 2 or 3 or 4 den meetings, you can purchase those belt loops and have them ready. Give them to the scout the moment that they've earned them. Now, at the pack meeting, if there's time, you can still call the scouts up in front of the pack, announce the belt loops they've earned, and you can still give the belt loops to the scouts in front of the parents and the grandparents, and everyone can go away happy. But if you give them earlier, I believe that instant recognition, that immediate recognition is going to be more motivation for the scouts to get out there and earn more. And let's face it, some pack meetings are so jam-packed that there really isn't time to do a really nice and appropriate award ceremony. In our pack, our first meeting of the year was the boxcar race. That's absolute pandemonium. We didn't even have time for an opening ceremony. It was crazy. Our last meeting, Liberty Wildlife presentation of Hawks and the Eagle. The kids are fascinated as the eagle's walking around. They rushed up to get their picture taken with the eagle. Again, I think we might have had an opening ceremony, but it was, again, just a wonderful pack meeting where the kids were having fun, but there was no time really to do the appropriate presentation. We have an upcoming cake auction, our major fundraiser. The point is, there's not as much time in the pack meeting to go ahead and make the presentation and make the award ceremony as you would like, but in the den meeting, you can do that. Okay, to support this thought, my proposition that you'll get more positive benefits from presenting awards as they are earned, consider this. Cub Scouts, elementary school kids, kindergartners through 5th grade. This cohort of scouts has a different concept of time than adults do. They don't look at time or think about time the way we do. And to illustrate that point, I have sort of a silly statement that I use to illustrate this from time to time. So I say this, it's kind of silly, but I said, when you're a child, Christmas comes every 2 years. When you're an adult, Christmas comes every 6 months. Now you can say when it's a holiday. I mean, you don't have to say Christmas, but the point is, when you're a kid, Christmas or your holiday never, your birthday, it never gets here.
Yes.
But when you're a parent, it seems like they're coming all the time. Have you had that experience?
I absolutely have had that experience. It takes forever when you're a kid. It just seems like Christmas is so far away, and your birthday, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a parent, it's like, it's Christmas again. So 100%. And I want to, if we could, real quick, Mike, I want to address a comment. First of all, a quick shout out to Rusty, who tagged a friend in the comment. Good job, Rusty. We encourage you all, if you know somebody who might enjoy this conversation, please tag a friend. I want to address a comment from Jeremy. Jeremy, I always appreciate your comments on the show. Jeremy thinks in his mind, den meetings don't work. You have to pre-buy the loops and you don't know who's going to show up. Listen, I will say this. I've been there, Jeremy, as a den leader. I did this exact same thing. And I agree with you. That's why I didn't buy them right away, because you just don't know for sure who's going to be there. You might end up with some extra loops. But I think we actually spoke about this topic with Audrey, another regular guest on this show. And Audrey suggested that if you agree with Jeremy, and it looks like from the comments, some people do, Regina agrees as well. There's still, though, an advantage to some kind of immediate recognition. If you want to save the belt loops for the pack meeting, which could be 2, 3, even 4 weeks away, that's fine. But I think the idea is that some kind of immediate recognition needs to happen right at the end of the den meeting. If it's not the belt loops, that's okay. What Audrey suggested, if I remember correctly, is some sort of simple printed certificate that you could print at your home to give them right away. It could be some sort of little simple mini ceremony that you do right there, even if it doesn't involve the belt loops. I think the important thing is that they get some kind of immediate recognition, because the pack meeting is forever a ways away from them. Mike, your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree. I would like to give the belt loops out, but any kind of immediate recognition, acknowledging that the Cub Scout has finished this particular adventure, I think is useful. But here's a question I don't know the answer to. If I bought 6 belt loops at the Scout shop and I only used 4, could I return the 2 that I didn't use, and can I or exchange them for belt loops for the next adventure we're going to use? I don't know the answer, but it may well be that if you could return them that you don't use or get credit towards the next set of belt loops, maybe that's the answer.
And I think that's a great question for your local Scout shop, wherever you guys get your loops from. But I think there's definitely value. This is just what is known about children, education experts. There is definite value and an immediate recognition, something tangible. If it's not a belt loop, okay, maybe it's a printed certificate, maybe it's something else you have, coins, whatever it might be, some sort of immediate prize that they could get to carry them over on, like Mike said, to incentivize them. Hey, this was fun. I got something for this. I want to do this again next time.
Well, but the immediate recognition, of course, is a proposition that I think we all acknowledge, almost regardless of the age of the individual getting the recognition. But I'm suggesting that the younger the scout, and the greater the time period between the award and the presentation, the less they're going to be associated with the activity with the award. And we want the awards to be a motivating factor. And I think that you're not getting the benefit by having this significant period of time between earning the award and receiving it. Remember, the fun happens in the den. Consider that the awards should be or can be presented in the den.
Yeah, and there's a couple of folks having a discussion. Appreciate everyone's opinions. Just consider the value, the proven value of that immediate recognition. See if that works. All we ask as Cub Scouts, hey, just do your best. That's all we ask.
Okay, so moving on a little bit from just the presentation of the awards, the concept of positive reinforcement, immediate recognition, it really goes beyond the presentation of awards or belt loops. I believe that positive statements to the Scouts, praise, 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 are incredibly beneficial. It's the positive reinforcement of you have done something wonderful. An older Scout helps a younger Scout. Don't miss the opportunity to take that Scout aside and say, hey, nice job. Or the crew that does the flag ceremony. Thank a lot of attaboys. Attaboy, you did that well. Attaboy, you did that right. And I had a situation, a really inspiring situation a number of years ago that I'd like to illustrate this point with. I saw an older Scout do something really nice for a young Cub Scout. And I slipped over and I took the older Scout aside and I said, hey, nice job. I really appreciate that. And you know what he said? Oh, no. He said, you caught me. You saw what I did. In my mind, it now doesn't count. I'm going to do something else, but I don't want anyone to see it. And I just thought that was so inspirational. I wanted to pass it on.
That's awesome. That's a great story, Mike.
Yeah. Let me switch gears. Don't forget immediate recognition for adults. We need to thank the parents for coming, for bringing their Scouts. No Cub Scout drives himself to the pack meeting. We want to recognize and thank the mom who leads the song. You know, the round of applause where you clap in a big circle. Miss Ruth, thank you for leading the song. Immediately let her know how happy you are. When she's leaving, take her aside and say, hey, listen, Miss Ruth, that was wonderful. And we really appreciate it. Be positive, be grateful. And what's going to happen is that adult volunteer is going to be more receptive to leading the song or doing the next volunteer activity that you ask them to do when they feel as if they've been appreciated. And we all know that we've got volunteers and parents in our packs who do incredible amounts of work. The crew that puts the Pinewood Derby track together. In our pack, you have to be an electrical genius to be able to figure out how the computer is hooked up to the track so it tells who won, what lane won, and came in second, and so on. So we have lots of people out there we want to make sure we thank. This point, though, you have to be genuine. You can't just, people are going to understand if you're not genuine, if you're just saying something to say it. Be genuine in your comments, and that's going to go a long way. Now, many packs recognize their leaders and adults at the end of the year. Thank you for the pack treasurer or the quartermaster or whatever. And of course, it's important to give certificates, maybe a gift card, maybe an award from the Scout Shop. So I don't have any problem with giving those awards at the end of the year. But anytime you can there's an appropriate reason to make the acknowledgement, the recognition of what someone has been done, that's really good. Now, I want to talk about the Cub Scout knot. You know, all of us have, or many of us have, different knots that we wear on our uniform. Most of those knots, many of those knots are for training opportunities, the training that a Scout has done. And the Cub Scouts, as I understand it, only have one knot, and it is a training knot. But consider that the volunteer who completes the training is probably one of your most motivated, your quality leaders. The quality leaders are going to be the ones that go ahead and get the training and do the things that are necessary to earn that knot. At our last pack meeting, I had filled out the forms for the Cub Scout knot for our current Cub Master and our current committee chair. And while I explained in the presentation to those leaders that this was a knot for the training they had completed, I went on to say, and they are the lifeblood of our pack. They are the motivators. They are the ones that are making this pack work. In other words, it was in addition to acknowledging their training, it was a thank you and an acknowledgement that they were out there. They were out there making the pack go, and I was awarding them, in a sense, awarding them this knot for all they had done for the pack. Aaron, what about that?
That's awesome. Yeah, that is a great reminder that recognition should not be limited only to youth members, right? Definitely want to recognize our most valuable volunteers. Rob, I'm fine with that. Heather, let's make it happen. I'm good with that. I just want to share something that I found as we were preparing for this show, Mike. Speaking of immediate recognition, I did some research looking into the Scouts BSA side of things and what their thoughts is. And they use the phrase immediate recognition also, but it's interesting how different it is. They say, this is from the Scouts BSA Troop Resources website. Immediate recognition is a powerful incentive of the BSA's advancement program. Agreed. Therefore, this is where it's interesting. A scout, this is talking about a Scouts BSA member, should receive their new badge of rank as soon as possible after their achievement has been certified by a board of review. Who knows how long that could take, but it's interesting. Older kids, they can handle a little bit more of a delay. The board of review could take certainly days, weeks, who knows, before they get their immediate recognition. But what we know from working with experts in education, childcare, things like that, is that immediate recognition for Cub Scout age kids and Cub Chat age kids, but mostly Cub Scout age kids, that immediate recognition, it's helpful if it is immediate, literally immediate. We've got a lot of folks sharing a lot of good ideas in the comments, and I'm seeing a few people I just want to point out also watching on YouTube. To those of you watching on YouTube, thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate that very much, including Eugene, who's watching on YouTube. Very, very nice. A lot of good ideas in the comments. Yeah, I would love to know from Carrie what a din doodle is. Mike, are you familiar with din doodles?
I think I should be, but I'm not.
Okay, well, Carrie, we've got a few more minutes here, Carrie. If you're still watching, fill us in. Let us know what a din doodle is, because I've heard that expression before, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. Overall, great thoughts, great advice today. Mike, anything else we need to share about immediate recognition?
A couple of things. I respect and I was aware of Scouts BSA and their thoughts on immediate recognition after the board of review or the award's been verified. But my wife and I were asked by the troop, by the pack, to take over the lion den. My feeling has always been that you need to have some experienced scouters work with these brand new parents who don't have anything. You really can't leave them alone as a den. You've got to work with them. And so what I'm experiencing, Ruth and I are experiencing now, is that we're working with these kindergartners. Now, you talk about concepts of time. Some of these little kindergartners don't have much of a concept about anything. And so we really need to bring them along. Of course, the kindergartners love the recognition at the end of the meeting that you can eat. If they can get a cookie or some fruit, I mean, they really love it. But to summarize generally, Aaron, what I wanted to communicate was, I want all of us to think about the positive benefits of recognizing scouts in some way at the time they earned an award. I think that it's okay, of course, to have the ceremony in the pack later. You can do both, but I think the benefit of giving the scout the award as soon as they've earned it is really, really great. But I also want you to think about the positive feedback and positive reinforcement for positive behavior. The scouts that do the flag ceremony. And don't forget the adults. It wouldn't be such a bad idea to have one of the scout leaders stand by the door as the scouts' families are leaving. Thank you for bringing your scout. Thank you for coming to the meeting and participating. I do point out that a lot of what we're talking about here today is not new. But what happens is it's important, I think, for all of us to constantly think and constantly review what we can do to make our pack better, what we can do to thank and acknowledge the people that are making that pack run. We get lax from time to time, and that's not it. We just need every once in a while to re-energize and get back in there and making sure we're doing the basic things, thanking people, positive reinforcement, immediate recognition. Those are the positive things that we want to continue to reinforce.
Yes. Awesome. As usual, Mike. We got a lot of folks in the comments who are big fans of the doodles, including Carrie, who answered our question. There are beads or charms that are handed out for attendance, completed tasks. They're strung up and displayed at meetings. Had another commenter say, I think it was, let me see if I can find that real quick. Heather says they also use them for, like you said, good behavior, right? Just an immediate reward for doing something good. A lot of people love the doodles. Hey, whatever works, guys. We absolutely agree with that. Mike, though, the biggest question of the day, finally the moment has arrived. We need to know the answer to the riddle, today's riddle. Maybe read the riddle again to remind folks
so
what
here's, just to remind everyone what the question was. I'm going to describe something, and I want you to guess what it is. And the question is that what I'm describing has a bank, but they really don't put any money in it. There's a bed, but nobody really sleeps in this bed. There's a mouth, but nobody really eats or feeds anything, and so it's not used for eating. What in the world am I describing? And the answer is, I'm describing a river. A river has banks, it has a river bed, it has the mouth of the river. But that is, if anyone is looking at their Scout Life magazine, that's on the last page of this month's issue. How did people do on that, Aaron?
They did quite well, Mike. Shout out to Rob and Jamie, who got it right. Luke, Rusty, Eddie, all of them got it right. Probably because they've been reading Scout Life magazine. And it is, as Mike said, this is from the most current issue on the last page, the most popular page of the magazine, obviously the jokes page. Great discussion, Mike. Still got folks in the comments sharing ideas. Appreciate that, guys. Keep that discussion going. The discussion doesn't have to stop just because Mike and I stop talking. This video will stay here on wherever you're watching it right now. It will stay there. You can continue to tag people, make comments, make suggestions. We appreciate that very, very much. Mike, excellent job today as always.
Well, Aaron, I enjoy being on Cub Chat Live. You're an excellent host. Scouting Magazine is a wonderful publication, and I think the subjects we talk about in Cub Chat Live are wonderful. And a quick reminder, you can Google, when you Google Cub Chat Live, you can research the topics, all of the topics that we have talked about over the last almost 3 years, and you can go back and pick any of those up and review them. So it's a tremendous library of wonderful ideas.
Yes, I've done that myself. I think Kim has left the best closing comment that we possibly could have hoped for. Kim says Scout Life magazine is the best. Kim, I agree. Happy Friday, everybody. Go Rangers. I hope everybody enjoys your weekend. Sorry, Mike, Diamondbacks. It's okay.
Sorry, Diamondbacks.
It's okay. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate that. Good job, Mike. Have a good weekend. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
we'll
Aaron.
See you next week. Bye, everybody.
You all take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to catch next week's episode. Same time, same place. And let us know how we're doing at go.scoutingmagazine.org/rate-cubchat. We love feedback and ideas for new episodes. And you can visit blog.scoutingmagazine.org/cubchatlive for all our past video episodes. You can see us live. Except it's recorded, but it was live. Okay, see you next week.